In this video, we're going to talk about how to graph lines in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Remember that the value of m will tell you the slope, and b will tell you the value of the y-intercept. So when we graph lines in slope-intercept form, we're going to use m and b to figure out how to graph the line. So we're going to start off by plotting the y-intercept at 0, b. So let's look at this equation. We have y equals 4/3 x minus 2. 4/3 is the value of m, and b is negative 2. So that's why we go to 0, negative 2, and we plot our first point. Now we need to count the slope. So the value of m is 4/3. So that's plus 4 over plus 3, right? Because it's positive. So that means that I go from this first point and I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go right 1, 2, 3, because up is positive and right is positive. So that's how I get this second point right here, and then I connect these 2 points to form the graph of my line. So let's try graphing y equals negative 3/4x plus 7. So from this equation, I have m equals negative 3/4, and I have b equals 7. So if b equals 7, that means my y-intercept is going to be at 0, 7. So I'm going to go there and draw my first point. Now I have negative 3/4. So negative 3/4 tells me that from this point, I'm going to go down 3 and right 4. So I'm going to count now down 1, 2, 3, and then go right 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to connect these 2 points to create the graph of my line. Now let's try graphing the line y equals 2x plus 3. So the value of m equals 2, the value of b equals 3. That means that I have a y-intercept at 0, 3. So I'm going to go to 0, 3 and draw my first point. Now I have a slope of 2. Remember, sometimes it's helpful to write slope as a fraction so that I know how to count it. So I'm going to turn this 2 into a fraction. Remember that to turn a whole number into a fraction, I need to put it over 1. So this is 2/1. It's a positive 2 over positive 1, so that means I go up 2, right 1. So from this point, I'm going to go up 1, 2. I'm going to go right 1, and that is my second point. So I'm going to connect these 2 points to draw the graph of my line. So now let's try graphing the line y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. So I'm going to identify the values of m, which are negative 2/3, and the value of b, which is 5. b equals 5 means that I have my y-intercept at 0, 5. So I'm going to put my first point there. Negative 2/3 means that I count down 2, right 3. So I go down 1, 2, and then I count right 1, 2, 3 to get my second point right here. Now I need to connect these 2 points to create the graph of my line. Now I'm done. Now let's try graphing the line y equals 4. So let's think about this equation. We want equations to be in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Well, this equation doesn't have an mx term, so that term is basically 0. So we can think of this as being like y equals 0x plus b plus 4, right? Because b is 4. So that means that m is 0 and b is 4. So if we write that out, m equals 0, b is 4. So that means that my y-intercept will be at 0, 4. So I'm going to go to 0, 4 and put my first point there. Well, now I need to count my slope. Well, slope is 0, so that's 0/1, basically, right? So that means I'm going to go nowhere. I'm not going to go up or down, but I can go right or left. So I'm just going to plot my next point right here. I can just go over 1. I'm not going to go any up and down. So you can see that this is basically going to end up being the horizontal line that goes through y equals 4. Now let's try graphing the line y equals 2/5x. So once again, we think about slope-intercept form, right? We have an mx plus b. Well, in this case, we don't have a plus b. So that term is basically going to be 0. So we can think about this equation as being y equals 2 over 5x plus 0. So that means that the 2 over 5 is going to be m, 0 is going to be the value of b. So that means that my y-intercept will be at 0, 0, so which is the origin. So I'm going to put my first point at the origin, and now let's count slope. So 2 over 5 is positive 2 over positive 5, so I'm going to go up 2 and right 5. So I go up 1, 2, and then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is my second point. So I can connect these 2 points. Sorry, that was a bad graph. I'm going to connect these 2 points to create the graph of my line. So in summary, remember that to graph a line in slope-intercept form, you're going to first plot the y-intercept. You're going to count the slope to plot other points. And remember that up is positive, down is negative, right is positive, left is negative. And then you're going to connect the points to form the graph of the line.